The London Tube carries over 3 million people through 275 stations every day. It's the oldest and one of the largest tube networks in the world. It's one of the most reliable and safe ways to travel. But what happens if something does go wrong? Just 3 weeks before the first terrorist attack on the tube, London Underground carried out its annual major training exercise to test the capabilities of all the emergency services in the event of a serious incident. The exercise, codenamed Dartboard, is taking place on the District Line at Tower Hill Station.
Let them know how many members of your crew here, please. We've got observers, umpires and safety officers from each of the agencies here. And I do appreciate that each of you will be watching something particular to your own agency.
In addition to the more well-known services, fire, ambulance, police, British Transport Police, the Emergency Response Unit, or ERU, has a crucial role to play. Their manager is Darren Hillier.
Basically, they should act as if it's a real incident, i.e. that they turn up, they make themselves known to the London Fire Brigade, to the LAS, London Ambulance Service, to make sure that they go through what happens in a real incident. I'll be becoming the umpire now to ensure that what happens is believable, if you know what I mean. You know, I don't want them to come in and start acting up. You know, it's just for the sake of an exercise. It's what they do normally.
Yes, mate.
The ERU are the flying squad of the tube service, responding immediately to problems with the track, tunnels, and even passengers who've fallen under a train.
Well, the scenario is that the train's come into the Bay Road, gone through into the buffer. However, because we can't get the train literally down into the buffer, we've built a simulated buffer stop just out of sleepers and wood and put a tarp over to denote darkness, to allow some form of simulation. The driver, for some reason, has become incapacitated and he's gone through and hit the buffer. And also during the train crash, a person has actually fallen under the train wheels through the interconnecting doors. As he's fallen down, the train wheels have rode over the top of him, trapping his arm and his leg. There was going to be numerous casualties on board as well, so we should get a wide range of casualties to enable emergency services basically to practice what would happen in a real-life scenario.
And we've got nothing on the sheet.
Any volunteers that have not got the briefing yet, follow into the briefing room, please.
These volunteers are going to play the role of passengers on the incident train.
Firstly, when we're going to start the exercise, which will be around about 11 o'clock, the word Start X will be used. Should we need to stop the incident for a short period of time for any reason at all, we will use the word hold.
Yeah.
I've got a severe facial injury and I've got a fractured pelvis and a chest injury, which has got bruising at the back from.
Okay, can I have your attention, please? My name's Martin Finch. I'm the safety officer from London Underground. When you're down there, there'll be exercise staff, an exercise director, assistant director, safety officers like myself, various agencies coming down. Part of the exercise itself, you'll be directed by the exercise staff and safety officers. Later in the exercise, you'll be dealing with the ambulance service who will be doing the appropriate work that they need to on casualties like yourself.
Right, I'm Bob Thogan, I'm the General Manager of the District Line, but I thought it would be good if I took the part of a customer to see it from the other side, so to call.
The casualties are all volunteers, are they? Staff?
There's two groups, actually. Volunteers are just uninjured people. Most of them are staff or relatives of staff. We do have some younger children, we have some mobility impaired people as well coming down to make it a realistic incident, yeah.
There are some occasions when the British Transport Police know there might be some sort of incident and special preventative measures must be taken.
Right, Champions League semi-final, West Ham versus Liverpool. It's wishful thinking on my part, it's actually Chelsea versus Liverpool.
Inspector Ray Jiggins of the British Transport Police is in charge of crowd control at one of the season's biggest fixtures.
Firm but fair policing. Other than that, get yourselves ready, start making your way to Fulham Broadway and I will see you there.
When I came in, the women would have rushed.
No problems at all, it's neither football night, it's going to be busy. listening to the radio, we've got 300 Liverpool fans at Trafalgar Square at the moment. They're not causing any problems, but moving 300 football fans en masse can cause a number of logistical problems.
Ray's worried about one large group of rowdy Liverpool fans who'll be arriving later. At the moment, he's keeping an eye on thousands of Chelsea supporters.
What you've got there is just one train load. It's just one train load.
About 30,000 football fans will be pouring through Fulham Broadway. The Liverpool fans are just starting to arrive.
Right, the next big thing we've got is 60 to 70 Liverpool fans that should be on the next train. 60 to 70 noisy Liverpool in the last two carriages. So hopefully, just like Christmas, we're waiting for it to turn up.
At Tower Hill, the waiting's over, and it's time for exercise dartboard to start.
Yeah, keep kicking off.
The emergency services have to react as fast as possible to rescue the trapped volunteers.
Base to all staff, we have an emergency. We have train 155 has crashed into the buffers. There are many injured.
The volunteers have been told to act dramatically, so the exercise is as realistic as possible.
The ambulance service is on its way.
They need to be here now.
Yeah, I know, we're going to get them as soon as we can. We're going to get them down there, all right? I've got other passengers to deal with.
She needs help now.
Right, I'll get someone.
She really needs help now.
I'll get someone down here as soon as possible. Yeah, you'll be the first ones when they come, okay?
Hey sweetheart, what's your name? He said he was able to walk, but because of the impact was so...
Yes, I need an ETA from the ambulance service. We've got a person under the train. Can you give me an ETA? Over.
Train's crashed. The driver is unconscious. There's one patient underneath the back of the train. Train service has been stopped. Power's off. LFB are here. Police are here. There are unknown numbers of casualties, and I've declared an incident. You're going to make a detailed report to them because you've been down to have a look. Is that okay?
Role-playing isn't just going on at Tower Hill. Phil O'Hare is the performance manager of the entire Central Line. But he's playing another role today. He's a judge in the annual London Underground gardening competition. And he'll soon be on his way to the unlikely setting of Bermondsey, where Syed Utmani has added an unusual touch.
That's the fig tree. I planted it last year. It's exotic, and lots of people don't know where figs come from and what do they look like. And hopefully this year I'll be able to eat some of it. We never win the gardening competition. I think we came third last year on London Underground. Maybe we need more fig trees everywhere.
So they're nice and firm, and kind of, you look at the kind of, you know, there's no wilt. The colour coordination, actually, with, you know, the lovely green trees outside, is just, for me, it's bringing that relationship, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that's intentional.
So how much did you score that then?
Excuse me, do you have a moment? Okay. Have you ever noticed the flowers behind you? You haven't?
Because I'm always in a hurry.
So if I was to say, you know, in terms of the impact on you, how did it make you feel, what would you say out of 10?
Oh, happy.
Happy?
Yeah.
Put a mark out of 10.
8.
I'd give them a good 6.5.
Thank you. And yourself?
I would say 7.
So from the customers, we got a 9, an 8, a 6.5, and a 7. And so I'd call that an 8.
Okay.
Bermondsey may be an unusual contender in the garden competition, but Mohammed Jamil's trackside gardens at Edgware Road are even more surprising.
Well, what we're doing is planting them now. They should come up in the next couple of weeks. And this lining we'll put in, but it's not finished yet. I have to tuck it in so it doesn't show when people are looking at it, because like this, it doesn't look very nice. But we did it earlier, but we're going to tidy it up properly. This flower is really beautiful. You can imagine the size of one petal. So it's just one petal alone. That's about 4 inches long. When it's completely open, that goes about 9 inches.
Mohammed's on his way to his ticket hall gardens to make final preparations for the judges. At Tower Hill, the pressure to perform well is intense at exercise dartboard, and any lapses will be picked up by the umpires.
In that carriage, there was 2 priority 1s, and 2 priority 2s.
I got that.
You got that?
The casualties are prioritised according to the severity of their injuries. Time is of the essence.
Priority 1 in the second carriage.
We were evacuated in 6 minutes. There's always a feeling as though you don't know what's going on and there's a lack of information and there's people walking about. But we were evacuated. We then asked for directions to Liverpool Street, and we got those without too much difficulty.
Yeah. Guys, we've got a hold X call to hold the exercise here. I'm not sure why at the moment. Someone's called it.
There's a problem. Something hasn't gone to plan, and the major training exercise has been brought to a halt.
But he said at the moment, because of the crime scenes, hang time.
Just 3 weeks before the July the 7th terrorist attack, London Underground held its major annual training exercise. It's designed to test the response of the emergency services to a serious incident, but for now it's come to a halt.
I guess the only issue for me was that you were just allowed to leave the station effectively with no details being taken, which I would have thought would have been unusual in an incident of this size. But other than that, we were dealt with very quickly. So we're off again. We'll probably get evacuated again now then.
One of the services didn't fully follow the meticulous protocols of reporting in, but the exercise is now underway again. The emergency response unit has been called into action. They've got to find and remove a dummy placed under the train as soon as possible.
This particular situation, the person was trapped under just one set of wheels. So all we have to do is actually lift up one complete axle. Being underneath a train, there's lots of sharp objects that can hurt you at any one time. There's around about 9 inches of room on most trains that you can sort of guarantee. A train carriage is approximately 25 tonnes, and we use jacks, hydraulic pneumatic jacks, which allow us to lift the whole of the train up in various positions. Every incident is different, and every time I went to a one under, I always had butterflies in my stomach.
Just to let you know, yeah, still heavy traffic, Fallen Broadway, very noisy, fans coming through now, both colours over. No problems at all. It's busy, it's noisy, but no grief.
At Edgware Road, the judge, Jeff Ellis, has arrived.
The top here painted yellow, the circle line. That one over there is pink for the Hammersmith and City line. It really is amazing. Mohammed has to water all these flowers every day, and he does it with one watering can that he has to keep filling up in the toilet and coming out here. I mean, the commitment and the enthusiasm just to keep it all going. Professional gardeners would never take on a task like this and get this result. It's freezing cold in the winter, it's like a greenhouse in the summer, and I've never seen geraniums 7 foot, 8 foot tall. I mean, the man is amazing. He really is amazing.
Non-stop.
Well, he obviously likes it. You can come and work for me on the Central line.
He's got a nice garden.
And I'll give you lots of gardens up at Loughton and places like that. Got wonderful gardens. Come and work for me, Mohammed.
Okay. Give me a job on SMF.
I'm on my way.
The exercise has ended, and the ERU are reflecting on how it went.
8 minutes for that, that's not old time.
Well, it was pretty realistic where it was positioned and all that, you know, and the only unrealistic bit about it was the time that it took for us to actually clear people off the carriage so we could actually start jacking it up.
We're told to wait round there, we're told to wait here. We go downstairs, we're told to wait there. There's someone underneath the train, and we're still told to wait.
So it's really the waiting.
It's
was-
silly.
It didn't seem realistic.
Yeah, well, it can't, can it?
No.
There were the usual complaints about we weren't treated for an hour or something like that. But I tried to explain to them that it's an exercise. And then
Some senior managers are even more critical.
I think one of the problems with these things, just looking around this room, there's too many observers. There's too many people that are not involved that get in the way, because I was one of those at certain times, right? And I think that makes it more unrealistic than it need be.
On the downside, guys on the gate were first of all pointed our guys to the BTP and then back to the LU. So, bit of confusion there.
Yes, there are a number of learning points, but I think that's why we do these. I would rather make mistakes on days like this than when we really have a major problem.
Cheers, well done, mate. I'll be in touch.
Different agencies had their own version of events. It's better to have these points raised now than afterwards when we can say, oh, what happened there? Why did that happen? Well, I raised that item last time we had a major exercise and nothing's been done. So at least it shows people when they do get heated and do get passionate that they care.
It's back to real life for the ERU, where they spend long 12-hour shifts waiting to be called out. Here at Acton is the largest store of spares and equipment needed to maintain the tube network. Keith Piggott is the store's manager.
If you picture the work that we carry out in the ERU, we have everything here from the polo shirt they wear to the washing up liquid they use in the kitchen, to the fish plates on the track, to the heavy plant and equipment. That is your standard 20-ton jack. That, or you won't want to carry it too far, is a 30-ton jack, predominantly for battery locos. I have spreaders, where if you close them, it will pull the train. Press a button, push. Press a button, pull.
Wembley Park, yeah? Yeah? Wembley Park. No, I'm serious. They've got a report from the TRV, which is the track recording vehicle, and it's gone through there and it's picked up what they call a wheel unload, which is basically a dip in the track. And they're going to put in a speed restriction until they close the traffic tonight, and then they get someone down there and they repair it later.
Now, TSR works in a strict way. A flasher, such as this, will go down on the track in the forefoot, which is within the two running rails. So the driver will immediately see this flashing, and you'll think, a problem. He will look up. Further down the track, one of these will be placed.
It's quite simple, really. The train approaches where the problem is. It's alerted by the flashing lights, and then he then knows that there's going to be a speed restriction and tell him what speed he can go at.
On it will be the speed as decreed by the engineering instructions as to how fast that train should proceed.
Do you want the 10s or not? Apparently it's taken me an hour to get here. Yeah. Hour. Oh, no, there's nothing to get you safe out here. So as you can see, the train's going at 10 miles an hour. There's 100% wheel unload on the crossing down there. They put flashes in at the top so the train driver can see it, knows there's a speed restriction. And then the trains will slow down at 10 miles an hour until they passed over the restriction.
She won't pick up speed again now until she sees the T, and that means that the back of the train is over the danger area.
And at that point, once the last carriage of his train has gone past that, he can then revert back to normal line speed for that particular section of track. And that is a TSR.
Yeah, so mate, it's just job done now.
Most of the ERU's work is emergency track repairs, but it's jobs like these that keep passengers safe and the tube moving. The crowds are in a hurry to get home after a draw between Chelsea and Liverpool. tempers are beginning to fray as fans block up the entrance to Fulham Broadway station.
BX, receiving serial 101.
Ray Jiggins is concerned that things might get out of hand. Managing huge and potentially volatile crowds can be like walking a tightrope. One small misjudgment can lead to a major incident. Ray's decided it's safe to let the frustrated fans make their way to the tube station.
All it was where the cordon went in place, it didn't go right the way across. All coppers so the 75% that held obviously want to go home, and they're complaining because some people are getting through the cordon.
The ERU remain on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. For them, like all the emergency services, exercise dartboard at Tower Hill was a crucial and timely test for what was to come only a few weeks later.
With dartboard, that was just one train at one station, one incident. Little did we know then 3 to 4 weeks later on 7/7 that we'd then be dealing with 3 trains, 3 incidents at 3 sites. And so all of a sudden we're working with the same people, doing the same situation but 3 times over. So we was very, very pushed. But the guys from my unit pulled through. We've come down a bit now and we're starting to get back to normal, but normal's emergency for us. I cannot fault any of my guys for whatever they've done, and also the rest of the emergency services. For me personally, being in charge of this unit is one of the proudest moments of my life.
Hello, Bristol Control Room.
Next time, at Brixton, Frenchie has to deal with a security alert.
That situation down there, it's very dangerous for us.
And Mandy's training is put to the test.
Just relax, just relax.